What is up, everybody? Welcome, game changers and hopeful soul path warriors. I have an important video to talk about today because God is asking me to. It's what is the Antichrist? Okay, who is the Antichrist? What is the Antichrist? Better yet, who is the Antichrist? Because in the end of days, it talks about the Antichrist rising for all to be seen. What does that mean? What does it mean for Jesus to rise for all to be seen? Is he going to come out of the clouds? No, not necessarily. So I'm going to discuss that today. And I will also have you know that everything I say, very importantly, will also be found on this channel you find this video upon. So it's a great idea to stick around. You might want to subscribe because there's very important work that has occurred on this channel and through me since 2019. And it's going to go right along with what I say today, okay? So we are in the end of ways. We are in the end of times outside of God. What does that mean, right? What does that mean? Well, lots of people are going to think different things because the mind is busy. The mind is not the truth. Okay, you won't find a lot of truths within the mind, but rather you're going to find a lot of truths within your body, within feelings, within emotions. Those kinds of things are what's important, okay? So understand too that some of this is beyond our limited capability of understanding until we become more vast, more ethereal. Okay, so everything I say, just put it in your pocket because chances are it will full circle back around. And you can also look for the proof and the truth of what I say. It's there. Okay? So, who is the Antichrist? Who is it? We're waiting. We're waiting for the Antichrist to rise. And some people thought it might have been Trump because he doesn't comply with their agenda, right? Trump made it through even though they tried to stop him from doing so. And the interesting thing about Trump is some people might not realize is that during all of the work that I have been doing, there has been many times where God had me ground him, put bubbles of light around him for protection, and more. Okay? So Trump is not the Antichrist, but some people already think he is because he doesn't compute to their agenda. Neither did Abraham Lincoln. He was also assassinated. Okay? Look at history to who was assassinated. And you're going to see that there is a common thread. Okay, so the Antichrist is more vast than just one person. To fully understand who the Antichrist is, it is a really good idea to watch my videos of Mount Shasta 1 and then number 2. Okay, Fiji 1 and 2 also coincide because those are the pyramids one of the first pyramids I activated in the portal of God that I justified after I cleared Mount Shasta. And in Mount Shasta part 2, part 1 of Mount Shasta, there was hundreds of souls trapped there that I had to free. And then I returned the root chakra back to Fiji. And then in part 2, I burned the Antichrist, or what you would call the Antichrist. Okay, I undid his contract that was there. Now, also in birthing the new earth, the Antichrist in himself was also cut off from the light, the heartbeat of God. Okay, so darkness will fall in like this empty mass of energy until it just becomes nothing. That is the return of Christ. Okay, so in Mount Shasta, you can understand that I burned one of the first fallen. Their contracts, their work has been undone through the work of the return of Christ. That is what I've been doing since 2019. From activating pyramids, clearing Mount Shasta, freeing Jesus' soul, the truth of what happened to them. Okay? So the Antichrist is more, however, than just one entity or one person. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm getting chills when I say that. The Antichrist is more than just one person. It is a structured system that was built and created outside of the light of God. And it has its hooks in you very deeply. A lot of people. Okay? That was the Matrix. The Matrix is the system of the Antichrist. and it is designed to keep you trapped and shackled and bound and weighted, and not light, not free, not sovereign, not the pure creator that you truly are. Okay? And when I undid the Holy Grail, after I freed Jesus' soul, it was a contract written in Hebrew, and they used his blood to do it. And so consider the Antichrist kind of like a puppet master. It is a vast energy, much like God, okay, but not light. And its purpose was to take power away, where God's purpose or the light is to give you power. You have power, you have free will, you are a creator. God lies within us, but the shadow has been too. Okay, so when I undid the Holy Grail, it was a contract written in Jesus's blood that stole his soul. It did. You can watch that. I did that on Christmas Day in 22 on this channel. It is in the Return of Christ playlist. If you want to understand the Antichrist, understanding what happened and what I've done is key to that, because it's not just one person you're looking for. It's an energetic system that was built through the darkness, through the original fallen, which was angelic presence. Okay, they were quite powerful. They knew how to do things. They knew how to tear apart the system that was built by God. Okay, so the Antichrist truly resides in people through their choices of giving their power away to the shadow. They do it through money. I undid the money matrix. The work that I do is not just for the individual, it's for the entire reality. Okay. And birthing the new earth, I called all light home. Not even darkness will be able to connect to the light of God anymore. Okay, we can no longer be duality. Okay, so we were living in a false world. We were living in a system that was built by what you would call the Antichrist. And so anywhere those feelers are within anybody, they become part of that system. They become part of the Antichrist, duality. We were duality because that is what happened to this earth. They took the power of God. They were using God's creation, God's light, and taking the power of mankind to serve their agenda. This was all for personal gain, for power, for control, for division, for manipulation, okay? So I'm going to tell you again, the Antichrist is not just one person. It was designed by the fallen, which were fallen angels, okay? And that is who I burned when I cleared Mount Shasta Part 2. His energy and all these souls were housed underneath Mount Shasta. They were trapped and housed. Jesus, that timeline, because the Return of Christ is more than just Jesus. It goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. Okay, that's when the darkness really started taking over. But Jesus was murdered and burned. He was murdered at the Euphrates River. There was no cross. The reason they depict a cross is because they stole his soul. They ripped apart his DM and feminine soul line, and that was part of what I was coming back together through with my DM. And they stole the power through his blood, which is why I had to use his blood as the anointing. It's not water that you want to anoint your home with. It's the energetic cleanse of Jesus's blood, because what they used his blood to do. Okay, so this is quite vast, but it's, if you open up to the totality of what it is, it's right there in front of you. Okay, this split that we are in is the Antichrist to the Jesus timelines. And what that means is those who do not want to take their power back from the matrix. Those that want to live governed by money, right? I undid the money matrix. If your choices are governed by money, if money is much more important to you and you don't know that your power as a being and as a creator, and that love is the frequency of exchange, you're anchored into that shadow and you can't come over to the light. Okay. The other day I did a video about soul path alignment, and Prometheus also stated soul path alignment is required. That's the Jesus timeline. Okay, that's departed from the matrix reality, or what you would call the Antichrist blueprint. Religion is part of the Antichrist. I undid the Sistine Chapel for a reason. It's all religion, not just one. They took pieces of the light, divided it and scattered it, and then threw in a bunch of lies, and then they take your power away. So we are afraid of money. We're afraid to not have money, right? This is the system they created. This is the system of the Antichrist. Okay. The new earth blueprint, I don't focus on money. I focus on balance from the heart space, my passion, creating and calling in. Okay? Being in my power, being in balance, knowing my power. And any time, any negativity, anything outside of love that comes in, I have to clear it out and call back my power. And this is what I've been saying for a very long time. The Antichrist is a consciousness just like Christ consciousness is. Okay? It is that false veil of illusion that keeps us in false timelines. So when we're worried about the future and we're worried about the past, that is a false timeline. Okay? That is a part of the Antichrist system. It's true. If money creates fear in you and you're afraid you won't have any, then you're not in your power. Okay, because if you are balanced from the heart center, love is your guide only, nothing else, no judgment, no fear, no ego, no greed, all connectedness, love, joy, happiness, and co-creation, soul path alignment, because then you're in your passions, you're creating from your purpose. That's the Christ path. Those are the ones that will rise because that's the new earth blueprint. And you can truly see the new earth blueprint through all the work that I have done, especially birthing the new earth. Okay, there's a new chakra system that was rebuilt for the new earth, and all of that is undone in the matrix. So anybody that doesn't want to get out of duality can't rise. Okay, that's the Antichrist, and that is why the Antichrist is a belief system. But it stemmed from the original fallen. Okay, they fell away from God. They murdered Eve. That's the truth. Okay, got Adam to turn against Eve. Got Eve out of balance, temptations and things. But it wasn't as easy as don't eat the apple. It was an attack. Okay, and it took everything I had to rectify it. And I do mean everything, including a DM of mine. Okay, I got to walk in. So it's not an easy battle. It wasn't an easy battle, and it wasn't pretty what they did. They lie. That was the Adam and Eve timeline, and then they came back as Jesus and what you know as Mary Magdalene, and they did it again. Except for that time, religion was spawned. They took again the power of Jesus, that timeline, so it was constant taking from the feminine and then taking from the masculine. And with Jesus, they actually stole his soul because of that contract, which they call the Holy Grail. It was written in his blood and in Hebrew. And it was like a spell casting, because I do spell castings with the gods. But this was a spell casting of darkness. And it took the power of the earth. It took the power of the light. And then they created like these divisions. All these more divisions. Religion really anchored in to the totality of what you know it today. And they poisoned Jesus and burned him. Okay? And they stole his blood before they burned him. And that's the Holy Grail that they wrote the contract with. And so knowing the truth is what sets you free. Okay? Accepting the truth, seeing who is Christ within your heart space, right? Christ is the one that does the work. Christ is the one that brought the removal of all darkness from light. And that's what I've been doing since 2019. I don't have a Christ complex, okay? This was a lot for me to process. And so I don't expect you guys all to get it in one day. But I'll tell you what, the moment I said you must be soul path aligned, so many people went off in judgment. You're not soul path aligned. That is the path of Christ. Okay? If you are governed by the matrix, that is the Antichrist blueprint. It is everything that was created outside of the light of God is the Antichrist blueprint. Religion, okay? That has to be healed. You have to let that go. In this one, it has crosses burning and souls being set free. If you watch the Sistine Chapel, that's what I did. Okay, it housed cherub angels that they enslaved. Okay, they kind of trapped them there. And so it was not of light. Okay, it's being able to see the truth. Your soul path is a path outside of the matrix. You will not be governed by money or fear or judgment, because judgment is not of God. It is only love unconditional, giving yourself your power, allowing your heart to guide the way, your higher self and the angel's co-creation, and following that of the path of the soul path alignment. Okay, you don't know your purpose outside of the matrix until you step into the totality of what it is. And as you step in, you have to let go of the shackles that bind. So money will tempt you. Be afraid of money. You won't be able to pay your bills. You have to work this 9 to 5. You have to be in the matrix system to survive, or you won't survive. You won't be able to feed your kids. It's all a lie. Okay? It's only not a lie if you give it power. The entire system that they created to the White House is the Antichrist. That's why Trump is not. He didn't go to their agenda. He is not a part of their agenda. Okay? He does stand for truth. He does stand for everybody seeing the truth. And I'm getting a lot of chills as I say this. Okay? He stands for everybody seeing the truth and actually helping to take down the false system. And if you listen to him, he talks a lot about this. Okay? He also has more truths to unveil. All right? And there's a lot of things I've done with him and the energy through the entirety of the work that I've done, from protecting him to a lot. Okay? He is not the Antichrist. He's here to help rectify what was done. Okay? And part of it was his karma to clear, and he is aligned with that. All right? He is living his soul path. And you can tell because he's not going against what everybody tells him to do, and how many people put him down and judged him, made fun of him. And then they tried to kill him more than once, and I said they would. And I kept putting protections around him. Okay? So the Antichrist is multiple people. It's not just one. It's anybody who gives their power away to the shadow. So are you soul path aligned with the path of the soul, of light, of love, of Christ? Are you on the sun path? And are you co-creating from the heart space and in balance? Because that is the only way abundance will reign. Okay? You have to be fully in your power. Because the entire matrix system, which is what you know is the Antichrist, and those that take part in creating it and living in it and are governed by it, that is all of the split of the rapture. Okay? I hope this makes sense. The Antichrist stemmed from the fallen angels. Okay? But it's like an infection. It's like they have all of these feelers. Okay? Like John the Apostle murdered Jesus, but he was not the original Antichrist. He just gave his power away to that. For power, for greed, for control. Okay, they wanted the power of God. That's what happened to Eve. And then Adam. And it just trickled down. And Sekhmet and Horus with the sun and the moon. And they did use the moon to listen in. If you listen to the very first undoing of the false concept of the moon, the darkness of the moon, I literally said in there that a satellite will fall. And it did within 24 hours over Oregon. That's all there. And then I also said that if they listen in again, their ears are going to bleed. So they were using the structure of God to control and manipulate. And if you think you were free in the matrix, you are not free. If you are afraid of money, if you're afraid of spending money, you're not free. If you're afraid that if I don't work this job, I can't pay my bills, you're not free. If you're afraid that you won't get food unless you comply to the matrix, you're not free. You're controlled. Okay? If you found a comfort zone in the matrix, it's because that was survival. But that will not help you survive. Your comfort zone needs to be developed from the heart space, from balance, from co-creation, and from your soul path. When you are in your power, knowing that you're a creator, knowing how to manifest, knowing how to stay in balance, keep your vibration high, and only accepting love, co-creating from the heart space is your soul path. You don't know what your purpose is. We're all connected. We're all here to help people. Creation, like there's a balance system. If you're there, I'm not governed by money. I know I can call in money. I'm not afraid. Fear doesn't govern me. Judgment doesn't govern me, because anything that comes in, I clear it out. It's not love. I will only reflect love. I realize the world is a reflection of me, so I heal it when something rises. And I keep choosing love, my power, and co-creation. That's your soul path. If you're there, you're rising. You're learning the lessons. You're letting go karma. You're clearing karma. You're not choosing money. If anything comes in that says you're not good enough, if you do this, you're going to fall, you won't have money, you have to do this to have money, blah, 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 blah. If you let people manipulate your emotions and create fear within you and all of these things, you're not free. If your mind is so chaotic, you don't know what's yours and what's not, you're not free. Okay? The 666 mark of the beast was the mind. They control your mind. They get in. It's very loud. Negative thoughts will creep in, especially when you're going to rise. Okay, especially when you work with me. Anything that, like I said, I did a video the other day that said we have to be soul path aligned to rise, and now. And only 9 people watched that, and I felt a whole bunch of judgments come my way. They're not free. And they're definitely not soul path aligned. I also did a video that you could find out if you were soul path aligned and the steps to do to get there. So where that fear creeps in, it's not of God. Where judgment towards me or the words that I'm saying, that's not of God. Because I can prove everything that I've done. From clearing Mount Shasta, burning Archangel Samael, he's the original fallen and there were more. Clearing the Jesus timeline, the Adam and Eve timeline, the Sekhmet and Horus timeline, and aligning again with my DM on all of those levels. Activating all pyramids all over the globe, the feminine to the masculine. Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand, and more. Congo, Kilimanjaro, British Columbia were masculines. Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Like, I activated a lot. 13 pyramids. There's 13 gates into New Earth. I dried the Nile, okay? I replaced the crystal in the core of the earth from darkness to light. And then I rebirthed the new earth. There's 13 gates, not 12, okay? The Antichrist is the system they built that gets you to give your power away. So it will reside in those that choose to not take their power back and be soul path aligned and rise through the light of the one. The ones that choose not to see who Jesus really is and the work of God and what really happened. The ones who choose to be afraid, to let fear govern them, to let time govern them, because time is also a part of the matrix system. It does not exist the way you think it does. Okay? So the false timelines are part of the veil of illusion in the matrix system. Money is part of the veil of illusion in the matrix system. Okay, doing anything outside of pure sovereignty and unconditional love is the blueprint of the matrix system. Okay, you need to be in balance, and you need to be soul path aligned, and you need to be heart centered and co-creation with spirit, because we can't see everything. Our mind does not know everything. That's ego. That's false. That's also a part of the matrix system. So I co-create. You better believe I'm constantly going, God, what do people need from me? The whole path of the return of Christ, I was co-creating the whole time. God would say, do this, and I would jump without hesitation. And where there was hesitation and resistance, I pushed past every time, and something amazing would come when the resistance was really big. And I'm talking, those were the ones where I was clearing Mount Shasta, freeing Jesus' soul on Christmas Day. You better believe every one of those big things, there was a great push of resistance. And they would get in my head and say things like, nobody cares about you, nobody loves you, you're going to die, you won't have money, blah, 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 blah. Your DM doesn't love you. All of these things would get in my head. And the moment they did, I would have to clear my energy, call my power back, but you have to see it. And it is all a part of your karma. Karma is us choosing things from the matrix system, giving our power of the light to the matrix. That's what creates your karma. Okay? So we should be guided by love. It's love that I create from. I love what I do. I love the courses that I do, the academies that I have, being able to teach people the totality of who they are, being able to guide people into the light of the one. I love what I've done. I love the strength that I didn't even know I had. Love guides me. And where love is not, it's my job to clear that, not throw it at anybody. And I work to better myself every day. And no matter what tried to stop me along the way, I didn't let it. And there was a lot. There was a lot, including people who became close to me in the end. That Sistine Chapel was not mine to clear. It was somebody else's that helped create it. And they didn't. Instead, they attacked me in the end. So judgment, thinking you know everything, ego, money controlling you, being afraid of money, needing money, money being your focus of everything, that's the matrix system. I undid that. I undid the money matrix, and if you listen carefully, they took the abundance from the divine. And again, used it to create fear and divide. Power, control, divide, fear. And if you realize, they're always taking your money and then making you think you need more. And then consumerism, it's this nasty cycle. You got to give your life away to jobs you hate. That's not God. That is the matrix system. That is the Antichrist. Okay? You will become the Antichrist if you don't choose to rise out of it. Right? So your karma is measured, and there's levels to that. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody's going to be a fallen. Some will have to go to the other side to clear karma now, because you can't do it here. And some that are too anchored into it won't be able to at all. Okay? If you look at me birthing the new earth in day 6, each day I totally put up a barrier from darkness to light. They cannot enter into new earth. Some people will be able to see it. Being awake is not enough. You understand? Some people will be able to see it, but still won't be able to rise. So being awake is not enough. You have to heal all your karma to rise. Okay? Because you can't be duality. You can't still be governed by that matrix blueprint. It has to be guided by love and soul path aligned. We have to. But that's why wouldn't you want to? It's an illusion that you wouldn't. Okay? Being controlled by anything is outside of God. Okay? Being guided by love is everything. All right? So in birthing the new earth, the matrix will become a mass of nothingness, and the darkness will even fall and crumble into nothingness. Okay? Watch all the work I did, and you'll know what's really coming your way, because this is the split of that Antichrist to Christ rising, and everybody's waiting for one person to come out, but there's actually many. Those who help create the blueprint of the matrix, those who totally are governed by the matrix, will be a part of the Antichrist timeline. Those who set themselves free, choose love the whole way, that's clearing your karma. Every lesson that rises, you must choose love and pure sovereignty. So if you're so afraid of money, well, if I do this, I won't have, and if you're throwing judgment towards God or the work of the light or even power of creation, that's what you need to be healing and rising out of. Because if money is more important to you than love, that's part of the Antichrist blueprint. Okay? Doesn't mean I don't deserve abundance. I deserve true abundance. I deserve love. We all do. And joy, happiness, wonderment, amazement, freedom, true freedom. Nobody telling me I'm going to die if I don't. The jab, the Antichrist. Okay? Truly, sicknesses are part of that blueprint. Genetically modified foods, which is actually responsible for a lot of our disabilities. I know this as a master healer. I'm a master of all modalities. Those are also being called back to the light. We cannot be duality anymore. It is in your system that will determine which timeline you're on. Okay? Are you governed and controlled and shackled and bound? Or are you free, only choosing love, raising your vibration, co-creating, soul path aligned, joy, love, focus, happiness, creation, abundance, manifestation? What you focus on will determine where you go. And what has power over you shows you where you're not quite soul path aligned. Like I said, when I posted a video about you have to be soul path aligned, that's detached from the matrix. That's rising with Christ. That's the Christ timeline. So many people judged that one. There's a lot of work to do, and time does not exist. It has to be in the moment of every breath you have to be doing something. Okay? I hope this helps make sense. It's a consciousness. You are either Christ consciousness aligned, soul path, heart-centered, balanced, love only, allowing only love to be your guide and your power, your power. You have to detach from the matrix timeline. You cannot be afraid. Fear is not of God. You cannot have judgment. Judgment is not of God. You don't know, okay? We're all equal. We all struggle. We all suffer. We all want love. You don't know anything, except that's not love. I choose love. I don't know all their details. How can I judge them? I'm not better than them. Their dictionary version of judgment is not true. Judgment hurts you, okay? Fear, judgment, greed, money being your guide. If your choices are because of money, that is not the Christ timeline, and that is not the New Earth blueprint. Money will not hurt us anymore. It cannot control your decisions anymore. It has to be love, co-creation, passion, soul path alignment, and balance. So much love, my friends. Have a beautiful day. By the way, this week going forward, it is all about getting out of your comfort zone, because that matrix comfort zone will drown you. Okay? The new comfort zone again will be found in balance from the heart center, only guided by love, a lens of only love, and being awake is not enough. Okay? But there's no fear. If this sparks fear in you, if what I say sparks fear in you, you have healing to do. You should be able to recognize that and be like, that's not love. That's reflecting within me. I need to heal it. But so many people instead judge and fall off. There's work to do, my friends. Okay? Get out of your comfort zone, because it's a false system. Unless you are full sovereignty, full power, full balance, heart-centered, all your choices are because this is fun. I love doing this. I trust. I'm not afraid. I know the universe will provide. I know money will come when I need it, because abundance is real. But love is the frequency of New Earth only. Not money. Love. I just got more chills. So much love, my friends. See you later.